Thomas Feldthus, Saniona. You have just presented Saniona here at Sedermeradagen in Copenhagen. What were you focusing on in your presentation?
The first thing we are looking forward to is, of course, to see that Medix is handling in the application for a new drug in Mexico after their successful phase 3 study here in December. And then we will have a market approval later in the year probably, and then introduction of the launching of the product in 2020, where we will have double-digit royalties to Saniona. So that is one part of it. And then you could say, from what we are focused on internally is Tesomet, which we are developing for 2 rare eating disorders, Prader-Willi syndrome and hypothalamic obesity, and where we currently are in phase 2 clinical studies.
You actually announced yesterday in a press release that you started recruiting now for the second phase 2 study with Tesomet. And you have discovered a few things about the doses of the drug that you're using in the Prader-Willi study. How can you use that knowledge in this upcoming study?
There's 2 questions here.
Yeah.
So the first one about hypothalamic obesity, which we are conducting here together with Hospital in Copenhagen. We will enroll a total of 25 patients, up to 25 patients, and then they have been treated for 6 months. And after that, then all patients will be offered Tesomet for additional 6 months. So it will be 6 months blinded study and then 6 month open label study in this patient group. And we expect them to enroll the patients up to during the next months, and then we can properly report the results at the end of the year for the blinded study and take that to the regulatory agencies. In hypothalamic obesity, it's acquired disease, and therefore they are normal in many ways compared to other people. They have similar liver function, same metabolic rate and so on. And therefore we think that these patients should just have the standard dose, which is the optimal dose we have been using in studies for obesity, such as Medix just have completed a phase 3 study in Mexico. So they will get 0.5 milligram per day, and when we have completed the study, we hope to see that there is an efficacy. We have a strong indication that it will work, because a similar compound has been tested with positive effect in the past. And therefore, when we have these data, we can take it straight to the FDA and EMA, and then start discussing phase 3 studies next year. So that is a way to come forward in this indication. We can move, believe, much faster in this indication because we know what the dose is supposed to be. In Prader-Willi syndrome, there we had a chance about finding the right dose, and still have a little bit. Although the last study has surfaced a lot of information for us. And what we saw is actually we know that the product works in Prader-Willi syndrome, because we saw that in the study we reported in February last year, where a patient lost a lot of weight, and hyperphagia, this extreme hunger they have, was completely disappeared in this study. So there was a strong effect seen in this study. We learned also that these patients seem to have a different metabolism of the drug than the 1,800 patients we have tested in previously. They are different in many ways, and this is one of them. And therefore we were saying, okay, we would like to reduce the dose in this patient. We are getting up into high concentration, so we are comfortable with that. Some of the patients can take it and have very good benefit of it without side effects, but others seems to be affected about it. So therefore, you could say when we started the second part of the study in adolescents, in this part of the study, the shift was not, the interest is not to show efficacy and proof of concept, because this we already got. The interesting thing here is to see whether we can reduce the dose and find more knowledge about what dose we should use in phase 2b and phase 3 studies. And this is what we're going for right now. We started low because we have the opportunity to increase the dose now as we go, if the first dose was too low. And this was, we think, what's happened. It was well tolerated in the first dose, but we didn't see a big difference between hyperphagia score reduction in the 2 treatment groups. So now we are increasing the dose to a level which we believe will give what we are looking for, and which we also believe will be well tolerated in these patients. And we see that over the summer. I would say that we have already data enough data to start phase 2B and phase 3 studies. You can go in 0.25 milligram, and then the doctors will be able to titrate up and to a certain level, and if they get too high, then they can just reduce the dose again. You can easily design such a study. There is no requirement that you need a dose which fits all shoes or our patients. You can easily go in and do these things, and that will be happening in clinics anyway later in time. The only thing regulators are concerned about is, do you harm the patient? And this we don't. If they are getting up too high, they have some symptoms, we reduce the dose, then they disappear. And that is what the doctors are very good at. But we are running the study over the summer in a new dose of 0.25 milligram in order to learn more about this study, about these patients. And the more we learn, the easier it is for our clinicians to design the optimal study, and then we will take that information in before we start speaking with regulators in US and Europe about starting late phase 2B and phase 3 studies in this program.
So you started with Prader-Willi, and then you're going out to hypothalamic obesity.
Yes.
Are there any other indications in the same sort of family related to this
yes,
that you could look at?
We have seen some, but it's also a question about financing, and it does cost money. We can take these two Tesomet forward in these two indications for $30 to $40 million over the next 3 to 4 years and get it on the market. And the next step could be then binge eating at that time, which is a very large indication. More than 1.5% of the Americans have that diagnosis. And we think that this product will work in this indication. So that is one option. Later on in life of this product, because there's a life cycle management, then we could start obesity with Tesomet, but that is further ahead. And there are also other rare diseases which we could look at.
Yeah, and having done fairly advanced programs, several of them, you have a broad pipeline. You have one program that's finished phase 3 in obesity. You have several phase 2 programs now moving on to soon to be going into phase 3 also. Doesn't this make Saniona a target for acquisition?
No, I mean, if you're a one product company, that's probably what you hope for. Because when you're coming to a certain stage, phase 2B or something, most compounds will be too costly for any biotech company to finance. In Tesomet, we can actually go the whole way in these rare disorders. We are developing a pipeline. We want to be a company. We're a biotech company. And we want to bring our own products on the market now. So that is our avenue, let's say.
We're looking forward to following you in that progress, and good luck.
Okay.
Thank you very much.